did you have for dinner last night? Now, do you know where any of that food came from? Do you know if it was raised, where it was raised, what chemicals could be in it, if it was packaged, or even if it was flown here from a different country? If you know all the answers to these questions, I'd give yourself a pat on the back, because I find that most people don't question where their food has come from. They don't usually ask this. As long as it's in front of them and it tastes decently good, well, as good as the Penn State dining halls can be. Sustainability is a big buzzword today. In terms of agriculture, though, what does it really mean, and how does this apply to the food that is on your plate? To start, it helps to realize that agriculture has been practiced sustainably throughout history. The traditional farming practices, which center around responsible stewardship and of the land and communities, are what is known as sustainable agriculture. Food produced through sustainable methods is healthy to eat, does not harm the environment, provides farmers and farm workers a just wage and safe working conditions, and supports and preserves local communities. This is why you should support sustainable farming, because it is one small step that we can take to better ourselves, the environment, and the local communities we live in. Now, most food in grocery stores is industrially grown. Industrial agriculture maximizes production with little concern for your health. The food you come across has been grown with hormones, pesticides, antibiotics, and genetic modifications. A genetically modified organism, or a GMO, refers to a crop that has been modified in the laboratory to enhance desired genetic traits for human or animal consumption. According to the Food and Agriculture Association of the United Nations, this makes us more resistant to antibiotics, is related to our increase in allergies, and even has caused mutations in our own genes. Also, the heavy use of pesticides has produced crops that is associated with elevated risk of cancer. All of these practices can have a detrimental effect on our health. Our bodies were not built to process this type of food. It was built to process it in a natural state. Sustainable farms provide an alternative because they produce cleaner food. Produce produce that contains less pesticides, meat, dairy, eggs that are free of added hormones and antibiotics. We are not only slowly harming ourselves with toxic chemicals, but we are also destroying our environment. Industrial farms cause an estimated $34.7 billion worth of environmental damage in the US each year. Industrial agriculture depends on the use of toxic pesticides and the synthetic fertilization of soils to grow crops. But what are the effects of this? This erodes soil, poisons underground water, surface water, and the air. Also, long-distance transportation of food is destructive to our environment because of the use of fossil fuels and the pollution it causes. Sustainable farms are vastly different. They sell food to markets as close to home as possible. Sustainable farming depends on preserving and enhancing soil fertility. Also, small-scale organic farming uses 60% less fossil fuels than industrial farms. Sustainable farming is not only providing healthy options through their food, but also taking steps to improve the world we live in. Finally, in these tough economic times, it is essential that we support our local community through sustainable agriculture versus big industry. Factory farms typically purchase equipment and other supplies from outside the region, contributing to the economic stagnation in budding rural communities. Their focus is on short-term gain versus long-term security. This is not the case with sustainable farming. Owners of small sustainable farms are more likely to be actively involved in their communities, boosting the level of civic participation and helping to build resilient rural communities. A study by the University of Minnesota found that small farms spend 95% of their funds within their communities, whereas large farms spent 20%. Sustainable farms support local economies also by providing jobs for the people around them. By eating sustainably, you are supporting a true American tradition that's part of our cultural heritage. The small independent family farmer. When you place importance on buying sustainable food, you join a growing nationwide movement. It is evident in these numbers that people are following the movement to improve their health, the environment, and their community through sustainable agriculture. But what can you do to integrate it into your life? If you shop in a supermarket, look for fruits and vegetables sold that are organic or raised on local farms. If you're unsure of whether products are organic, dig a little deeper, ask those important questions. You can also attend one of the farmer markets around in your area. I know here during the fall semester there's a farmer's market right downtown. What easier access than that? Also, you can join a community garden or start one yourself. Here on campus, I know we have our own organic plots and you can apply to be a part of this easily. I encourage you to support sustainable agriculture by eating local sustainable foods because it's a commitment you should make to yourself and keeping your body as healthy as possible for years to come. Ask questions and find out where your food is actually coming from because according to the old saying, ultimately, you are what you eat. Thank you.